you state, provide a methodology for customers to own assumptions and data incorporated into the model, enabling internal champions to co-sell to the senior executives and financial reviews. And I think your perspective is so powerful. It's not a win for the provider to try to jam a sale or win a deal. It can be bidirectional in helping the customer understand value and then go forward and internally sell that. I'd love you to give some more color to that.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting point that the ROI process, the business value process, has an extraordinary value to the customer. And one of the primary values of it is the transfer of a methodology from the vendor based on their expertise, addressing these particular process issues or business outcome goals that any particular customer has that we've hopefully solved for many others along the way in the course of our business, and transferring that methodology to the customer so that they can really walk around. Most of the time, nobody really understands, and no one individual single person knows the whole story of any given process. They kind of walk around and ask people, how much of your time do you spend doing this? How many resources? Does it change seasonally or during time periods, end of quarter, end of month? All kinds of variables come into changing the expense and resource allocation to get things done in a business. And that can be extremely valuable, number one, to help go through a structured analytical process. And number two, you do have to kind of teach your internal champion how to sell internally, right? With respect to ROI selling, bigger is not always better. Maybe you have some astronomical ROI you want to put in front of your CFO or whoever your top decision maker is going to be, your budget holder. But you have to be very careful about doing that. You want to make sure that you don't cross the lines of believability, right? The believability is kind of the key to the whole story and the whole decision-making process. And so you might have astronomical, side benefits to putting a system in place, but you're probably better off dealing with, especially initially, kind of just the core value statements and some of the kind of more reasonable process level improvements that you're going to get. And then as a side conversation, you might get into all the other inefficiencies and crazy things we got to do at the end of a particular quarter or something. If certain conditions happen, where you go all in on a process and use resource allocation skyrockets. Okay, we know that happens, and that will ameliorate that kind of exceptional process expense events, in addition to the baseline benefits that we're going to get out of it. So there's a lot to that quote and a lot to this practice of transferring the methodology and expertise to the customer, the operational process and the purchase process for the customer to manage.